What if the next mission to orbit Earth becomes more important than the mission that already circled the moon? After the massive success of Artemis II, after astronauts traveled around the moon and safely returned home, the world expected the next step to be simple: land on the moon. But NASA surprised everyone. Instead of immediately attempting another lunar landing mission, they introduced something unexpected: Artemis III. At first glance, Artemis III sounds like just another technical test, a routine mission to verify spacecraft systems before humanity returns to the lunar surface. But what if that's not the real reason? What if Artemis III is actually the beginning of a new space race hidden behind closed doors? A race between billion-dollar companies. A race for the future of the moon. A race that could decide who controls the next era of human civilization beyond Earth. Because behind the official press conferences and polished animations, something much larger appears to be happening. And today, we're going to break it all down. We'll explore what Artemis III will actually do, why NASA suddenly added this mission, the hidden competition happening behind the scenes, why this mission may change the future of space travel forever, and when humanity could finally return to the moon. This is not just another mission. This could become one of the most important moments in modern space history. For years, NASA has been rebuilding humanity's path back to deep space. Artemis I tested the rocket. Artemis II tested the astronauts and the Orion spacecraft. Now Artemis III is supposed to test something even more critical: the lunar landers themselves. But unlike the Apollo era, NASA is no longer building these landers alone. This time, private companies are competing for the future of lunar exploration. Because whoever wins this race may not just land astronauts on the moon. They could dominate lunar transportation, moon bases, cargo systems, and perhaps one day even missions to Mars. Before the crew ever launches aboard Orion, something incredible will already be happening in orbit around Earth. Two completely different lunar landers may already be waiting in space. One built by Blue Origin, the other built by SpaceX. And for the first time in history, NASA may directly compare both systems in a live operational environment. That alone changes everything. Weeks before the astronauts arrive at the launch pad, the lunar landers themselves will launch separately into low Earth orbit. Imagine that for a moment. Massive spacecraft designed for moon missions already floating silently above Earth, waiting for their crews to arrive. Then comes the launch of Artemis III. Just like Artemis II, the mission begins at Launch Complex 39B at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The giant Space Launch System rocket ignites with overwhelming power. The solid rocket boosters separate roughly 2 minutes after launch. The core stage continues burning for nearly 8 minutes before finally detaching. But here is where Artemis III becomes very different from previous missions. Unlike Artemis II, this mission may not even travel to the moon. Instead, the Orion spacecraft will remain in low Earth orbit. At first, that might sound disappointing. But in reality, this decision reveals something fascinating. NASA does not need to reach the moon yet. What they really need is certainty, because the next lunar landing cannot fail. And that means every system must be tested before astronauts are sent hundreds of thousands of miles away from Earth, orbiting just 250 miles above the planet, traveling at nearly 17,500 miles per hour. Orion will begin one of the most delicate maneuvers in spaceflight, docking with the lunar lander. This will also be the first real test of Orion's active docking system during the Artemis program. The spacecraft slowly approaches the lander with extraordinary precision. One mistake could destroy billions of dollars of hardware. But if successful, the two vehicles gently connect in orbit. Then begins the next challenge: pressure equalization. Air must slowly move between both spacecraft while engineers monitor for leaks, pressure drops, or dangerous environmental changes. Temperature, oxygen levels, air composition, humidity. Everything must match perfectly before astronauts are allowed to enter the lander. This process alone could take 1 or 2 full days. And once the hatch finally opens, humanity may see the inside of these massive lunar spacecraft for the very first time, especially inside the Starship human landing system. The scale appears almost unbelievable. Unlike the tiny Apollo lunar modules from the 1960s, these new spacecraft are gigantic. Some concepts suggest interior volumes larger than anything astronauts have experienced since Skylab over 50 years ago. And once the crew enters, the real testing begins. Inside the landers, astronauts will immediately begin inspecting every critical system imaginable. Life support, power generation, communications, navigation, temperature control, carbon dioxide removal systems, docking systems, oxygen production. Every single component must prove it can survive the harsh reality of human spaceflight. Because space has a way of exposing problems no simulation on Earth can predict. Even Artemis II experienced unexpected technical issues. One of the most publicized problems involved something surprisingly simple: the spacecraft toilet. Fans designed to create suction reportedly malfunctioned. Certain valves froze temporarily. For a short period of time, astronauts struggled to use the system properly. They were minor issues, nothing catastrophic. But those small failures reveal exactly why Artemis III exists. NASA wants problems discovered now, not during an actual moon landing mission. And there's another system NASA desperately wants to test: the airlock. If allowed during Artemis III, astronauts may wear their new lunar spacesuits, depressurize the airlock, open the hatch, and possibly step outside the spacecraft for limited operations. A modern version of what Apollo astronauts practiced decades ago. But this time, everything is far more advanced and far more expensive. Meanwhile, another major experiment may already be underway: the livestream itself. During Artemis II, NASA changed history by broadcasting nearly the entire mission live for the public. Millions of people watched astronauts work, communicate, eat, photograph Earth, and operate the spacecraft in real time. And something unexpected happened. People loved it. For the first time, audiences felt like they were truly part of the mission, not just watching highlights, but experiencing spaceflight alongside the crew. NASA quickly realized this could become the future of human exploration. That means Artemis III may feature even more advanced live broadcasts, high-definition cameras, continuous mission coverage, and perhaps real-time views from inside these lunar landers themselves. And if 2 separate landers are available in orbit, the Artemis III crew may repeat the entire docking and testing process twice, testing both systems side by side. And this is where things become extremely interesting. Because Artemis III may not simply be a test mission. It may actually be a competition, a hidden battle between some of the most powerful aerospace companies on Earth. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the future of space exploration, subscribe now to The Secrets of the Earth and join us as we uncover the mysteries shaping humanity's future beyond our planet.